All right, so in the past, we have always used an Excel spreadsheet. Let me turn on. It's hard for me to get all of the buttons I'm supposed to push at one time. It's sometimes hard for me to walk and chew gum, so I appreciate your patience. In previous years, we have always used an Excel spreadsheet to be able to have you document the evidence where Eve had talked about scoring the rubric and then providing comments. What we're going to be doing this year is we are moving now to using a Google form for you to be able to submit that. It will just help us to be able to put together the different comments for each one of the content reviews. For those of you who have worked with us in the past, you know that many times there are at least 2 or 3 of you who are reviewing the same program so that we can get a view of the program, and that Google form will help us to be able to put all of that evidence together. So when you receive an email asking you to complete a content review, you will receive a link to the Google form. So your email will include also a link to the EPSB website where your program information can be found. It will also include that unique user ID that you will use to log on to EPSB. So let me get here and forward my slides a little bit. So we're talking about how you're going to be able to document the evidence. If any of you want to, while we're talking, just go ahead and type in this URL. You can have a look at the form. You can even play around if you want. I don't think we're going to have enough time at the end to do some of the practice that we thought we would, but if you want to look at the form, you're more than welcome to do so. So the first thing that you see here is typical information that when you get the form, once you open it, you will type in your name and the date that you're reviewing the form. Again, typical information. The next 2 sections will ask you to select the EPP of the program where you're reviewing. And remember that you received that in the email, and then just identify the program that you're reviewing. So these are simple check boxes. The next section asks you to identify the program type. Again, everything that you need for the form will be in that email. So whether it's a traditional or if it's a option 6, the alternative route, or whether it's an advanced teacher or an other school professional. Again, a drop down so that you can just select it. The next section is where you document the evidence for those questions that Eve went over. Many of you are familiar with. You're just going to select which number you're going to score. Again, a radio button, click it, and then right underneath there is the place where you will provide your evidence or a comment. So it may look like, as we looked over the form kind of the second time, it looked like the question was being asked twice, because you see the question repeated, but really it's just the same question. One is the rubric and one is the space. In Google, it doesn't allow you to put one question and then 2 ways to respond. So it looks like there's 2 questions, but it looks like we're repeating the question, but we're not. One is the rubric, one is the comment. I'm sure it'll be very, very intuitive to you. The next section is the program requirements. And again, the same thing, it'll be repeated. So is the program requirement diversity integrated across the curriculum? You'll answer it yes, no, or somewhat, and then a way to provide comments or evidence. And then you'll have each one of those repeated. And that's it. Then finally, you'll give your overall comments. So again, very, very simple. I get the easy part of the presentation. The form is simply a Google form that you will then submit. I didn't put the snapshot of the submit button. One nice piece is when you submit it, you can also check so that you can have it also send you the results. So maybe you would like to keep a copy of your comments, because the next time when you review a program, it's not that you're going to copy and paste. Certainly, I know that, but sometimes you just like to look at comments that you used in the past and how would they be the same. It's helpful to just refresh your memory. So you can have your comments that you submitted emailed to you. So
excuse me, Kathy, can I add something here?
Please.
In the overall comments, what we're asking you to do is to kind of give us a holistic view about what your impression is about the overall program in its entirety. Provide any final comments, any relevant feedback as it relates to the overall quality of the program. In this section, you may wish to provide suggestions for improvement or ways to strengthen the candidate's experiences within the program. This is a way that we can then share your feedback with the institution as suggestions for improvement.
Question that just popped up in chat was, if you are assigned a traditional program and an alt-cert program, do you do 2 Google Docs?
Thank you so much. I appreciate Allison getting me back on script. Those were definitely comments I should have shared. That's a great question. Yes. So if you are assigned both programs, you will need to submit a different form for each program.
The other thing that I think our content reviewers need to be assured of is that your comments and your review alone does not disapprove a program. You're simply giving your expert opinion. We have more than one person giving those. So please don't hesitate to feel comfortable in providing comments and scoring a program, because this is one way the programs can be reviewed. But remember, as Allison talked about earlier, there's a whole process involved here, and you're just a piece of the process, but a very, very important piece.
Thanks, Eve.
Also, be assured that your identity is known only to the staff. So if don't be concerned that you can't be honest in fear that the institution that you're reviewing is going to hate you. All right. All of the reviews, as far as the EPP is concerned, they don't know who's reviewing what. So your identity is completely anonymous to them.
And we redact all of that information. That's one of the things about being able to have it in a Google form, that all of those comments will then go honestly in a kind of just a summary, if you will, and be shared then with the program review committee, so they can see that in a more holistic way, as opposed to reviewing all of these different Excel worksheets. So having it submitted electronically is a way that we can really make the process a little bit more efficient and continue to ensure anonymity. So I do have up there those URLs for both of those sites. Again, looking at our list, many of you are very familiar with Keepers, and so I don't think you need any practice with